Good day, everyone. This is your friend, Dr. Arlie Macasiano Imperio, and we'll be having a special topic today. The title is How to Use Our Mind for Health, for Healing, and for Prosperity. And this is for those who are, let's say, having challenges in their health area. And I would start by saying that we have three bodies. First, we have the physical body. So whenever we have health challenge or when we get sick, we go to the doctor who will treat our physical body. And usually the treatment is on, let's say, medical or surgical. If medicines may be required, then the doctor may say so. However, what I would like to emphasize, as we have discussed in our previous lectures, that we have three other bodies, because we have the mind, we have the emotions, and we have the physical body. So if there is treatment for the physical body, there is obviously treatment for the mental and emotional body. However, the physical body is being addressed to by our doctors, and the key question is who would be the doctor for the mental and emotional body. Generally, we say it is the doctor for the physical body because the doctor has mastered how our body is structured, how our body is, let's say, created. And we even opened up the body to study how the body really works. That's why the doctor knows the way on how to treat the physical body. However, the mental and emotional body, the one who can only, let's say, see what is inside the mental and emotional body is the person himself. And therefore he is the one that can only make an assessment and promote, let's say, steps on how to correct the physical body. So I will try to see if this can be shown, let's say, in the horizontal view. Oh yes, so that's it. So I would like to recommend that we practice the 7-day affirmation program. And I made this presentation on the year 2020, so that is already, let's say, a year ago. And the 7-day affirmation is actually a technique on how to support our mental and emotional body. And I had a lecture in one of our, let's say, episodes where I focused on the mental diet. If in the physical body we have food for the body, we call it the, let's say, diet for the body. We also have something for the mind and heart, and we call this the mental diet. And the principle of the mental diet is to be watchful from the time we wake up in the morning until the time we sleep, for any negative thought that may come into our mind. And when we detect the negative thought, we immediately, let's say, dwell on the opposite, which is a positive thought, on the simple reason that we cannot entertain two thoughts at a time. We can only, let's say, dwell on one thought. Therefore, if the thought is negative, by focusing on a positive thought, which could be the opposite of the negative thought, then we are now, let's say, at the positive side of our thinking. And we keep on doing this until the feelings are enhanced. So the emotional body now comes into play. And therefore, we treat the body at the physical level, and we treat the mental and emotional body. The treatment for the physical body, obviously, is our doctors. And the doctor to the mental and emotional body is the person himself. So this discussion can be useful to those who might be having some health challenge. And the tendency, if one has some health challenges, he is now dwelling on the problem at hand. He is now thinking and feeling on the, let's say, sickness that he might have. So the goal is to change the thinking and the feeling to what we desire, which is health. Now, we mentioned that in the mental diet, we take note of a thought that is coming into consciousness, and we found out that the thought is negative and we change it to positive. However, there is also another technique where we immediately focus on positive thoughts. We do not wait for a negative thought to come in. So we always repeat to ourselves a positive thought. So this is now where the 7-day affirmation program comes in. This is a guide on what we will be doing for 1 week or 7 days. So we start with day 1 and we proceed it to day 7. And when we keep on doing this, we actually develop new patterns of thought. So the pattern is see to it that we dwell on the right ideas for 7 days straight. So this is what we call the 7-day affirmation program. And we will now discuss on how it can be done. So let's analyze what is it. The 7-day affirmation program, it is actually a set of statements that we decide in advance. Take note, in advance, to make firm in our mind. That's why affirmation. And when we make that kind of decision, it actually creates our mindset. And our mindset is the one that guides us on how to react to life or any situations. That's why it's very important that we have the right mindset. And to develop the right mindset, we will use the 7-day affirmation program. So we decide to improve or change our mindsets in advance to guide us on how to react to the many challenges and the situations in life. So in the mental diet, in one of our discussion, we just take notice, we have that level of awareness and try to catch the moment when a negative thought comes in, and then we change it to a positive one. In this technique, we decide in advance what thoughts we would be dwelling upon in order for us to counteract for the possibility of a negative thought to come in. So in short, we change the patterns of our thoughts and feelings, and we start doing this in 7 days. So why do we need to do this? Why do we need to, let's say, practice a 7-day affirmation program? We do this to develop new sets or habits of thinking and feeling. And when we follow the rhythm of 7, it is one way of helping us develop new habits using the pattern of rhythm of 7. And we know that what we think about and constantly feel about, we become. So we decide in advance what kind of thought patterns we would be dwelling upon for the next 7 days. The great teacher and our Savior said, and I quote, "Whatsoever a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." So thinking is at the mental level, that's the mental body, and feeling at the heart level is the emotional body. You become what you think and dwell upon, and that is the physical experience of what we were dwelling upon. Our current mindsets are usually faulty, if not wrong, and they are our current way of thinking and feeling. But if you would like to have a better life, we see to it that we change the thinking patterns of our thoughts, and that is now what we call the 7-day affirmation program. So the 7-day affirmation program is our tool to develop new, we emphasize new ways of thinking and feeling. And we practice doing it in a 7-day pattern. And eventually, we will be using this complete set of affirmation constantly throughout the day. So we practice until we master it. And later on, it will become a habitual thought pattern in our life. So how do we do it? How do we apply the 7-day affirmation program? In a little while, I will be giving you the 7-day affirmations. But this is exactly what we will be doing every day. We take note of the affirmation for the day, for example, day 1. And then we first repeat the affirmation slowly to ourselves while writing it down 7 times. So the affirmation usually is only one sentence. So you now have a yellow pad with you, and you will be writing the affirmation 7 times, the affirmation for the day, and while doing so, you repeat it slowly to yourself. And the best time to do this exercise is just before we are about to sleep, or immediately when we wake up in the morning. So we have things ready in advance, and 30 minutes before sleeping we start writing down the 7 affirmation, and then we now go to sleep. And immediately when we wake up in the morning, we have our pen and paper ready, and we immediately write down 7 times the affirmation for the day. And then so by doing so, we eventually memorize the affirmation because it is only one sentence. And then as often throughout the day, we dwell on the meaning and importance of the affirmation. So the focus is on one new affirmation a day, and there are new sets or new affirmations every day, and therefore we have 7 affirmations for the entire week. Therefore, by the end of the week, we now have mastered in mind and heart the 7 sets of affirmations. Okay, so finally, this is the last slide. This is now the 7-day affirmation. So I have already given you the instruction on how to do it. And day 1, which is Sunday, for example, the affirmation is, there is only one power and presence in my life, God, the good, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. So, like what I said, we write this affirmation 7 times, first thing in the morning when we wake up. And before we sleep at night, we again write the affirmation 7 times. And throughout the day, we try to recall or dwell on this affirmation as often as we can. And then in every affirmation, we end by saying, and so it is, Amen. And we do so prayerfully, fervently, with full feeling and faith. So that's affirmation number 1. There is only one power and presence in life, God, the good, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. Omnipotent, by the way, means all-powerful. Omniscient means all-knowing. Omnipresent is that He is present everywhere. Day number 2, or Monday, the affirmation is, God's life radiates through my mind and body, establishing perfect health. So we write this down 7 times when we wake up in the morning. We try to remember it as often throughout the day, and before we sleep at night, we again write it down 7 times. So why do we have to write it down? First, when you dwell on the affirmation, that is thinking. When you repeat the affirmation, that will be feeling. And when you write it down, that will be the physical action. So you're actually creating the meaning of the affirmation in thought, feeling, and action. Day 3, or Tuesday, the 3rd affirmation, God is my only source of total supply, so I dare and claim my prosperity now. And then day 4, Wednesday, I bless and see every person in my life with love, beauty, compassion, and joy. Every person is a channel of good to me. Day 5, or Thursday, every experience in my life is a blessing, clearly seen or in disguise. Every event always leads me to my greater good. Or clearly or quickly seen. Day 6, Friday, therefore I always move forward to my highest good, divinely directed and protected. Every area and thing in my life prospers now. And finally, affirmation number 7, or Saturday, or Sabbath, faith, hope, and love the greatest is love, for God is love. So that's the 7-day affirmation, my dear friends. The goal is to make these affirmations a permanent part of our mindset. This affirmation becomes what we would dwell upon in consciousness. The affirmation, therefore, is the mental diet, as we would say, that will lead us to be thinking and focusing on better concepts on life. So you will notice day 1 is focused on God as the only power. Day 2 is focused on health. Day 3 is focused on the financial supply. Day 4 is focused on love and relationship. Day 5 is also focused on, let's say, success, where we realize that every event that comes into our life is for a greater good. And then day 6, we now are still focused on success, where we now have that determination to move forward on whatever challenges that come my way. And our goal is always to move towards the highest good. And finally, we declare, which is the spiritual area, faith, hope, and love. The greatest is love, for God is love. So this is my version of the 7-day mental diet. And I made these personal affirmations. If these ideas takes hold of our consciousness, it will attract the corresponding equivalent. We will realize the power and presence of God in our life. We would realize that we can move towards better health. We would realize that financial supply is always available. We would realize that every person who are, let's say, in our life, who would come into our life, is actually a channel of good. And we would realize that every experience is always guiding us, motivating us to always move forward to our greatest good. And then eventually we declare that our life is full of faith, hope, and love. And we declare the greatest is love, for God is love. So that is our 7-day affirmation program. If you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat box, or leave them as your comment in the comment section. So like our presentation today, share, and subscribe, and click the bell notification for you to be notified for, let's say, more videos that will promote health, healing, and prosperity in our life. So this is how to use the mind to enhance or support health, healing, and prosperity in our life. So we would usually have broadcasts every day at 9 o'clock p.m., 9 o'clock in the evening, Philippine Standard Time, and 9 o'clock in the morning, Philippine Standard Time. But in the morning broadcast, I will be speaking in Taglish because I am focusing on our Filipino friends all over the world. However, at 9 p.m. In the evening, Philippine Standard Time, my focus is to reach out in all of our English-speaking, let's say, friends, especially in America and all over the world. And then eventually, I am speaking in English. I would have this translated in different languages. So anybody who might be interested to learn with our, let's say, video presentations would benefit. So this is your friend, Dr. Arlie Macasiano Imperio, always reminding everyone that prevention is always better than getting the best cure. And always remember that God is the only power in our life. And always remember that health may not be everything, but the moment we lose our health, we might lose everything. God bless you until our next video episode.